So last time we talked about this, you just kind of nodded your head and went along with
Was
it.
I high? We talked about that on this podcast?
We have twice.
It was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah. No, it was the first
Oh,
episode.
okay.
Yeah.
So 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little... I
I was a little high. Welcome to Galaxy Bound Podcast. I am Brad. This is Ben and Spencer. We are reacting and discussing our thoughts on Skeleton Crew episode 4. We just watched it, so we're going to talk about it. We've been doing this for every episode, and we're going to do, hopefully, the rest of the episodes as well. Overall, what were your thoughts, Spencer?
I feel like it was short, but also probably better for it to be short because it wasn't very deep. It didn't pull the story deeper into, getting the kids back home or anything, but we found out a few new things. But I liked it. It was okay.
Yeah, I feel like overall, it's definitely the weakest episode.
Yeah.
Like, by a large margin, I'd say. It didn't feel like a lot of the stuff that happened was necessary, but at the same time, it probably will be, just in terms of them being able to see other kids, and kids that are like completely different from them.
Yeah.
And just seeing a different perspective. And it was clearly really good for Neil to see that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's probably going to be important for his character going forward. But in terms of like how like we as an audience feel about it, like at the end, you're like, good for Neil. Like he found a new friend.
Yeah.
But it was just kind of like, why are we here? What are we doing?
Yeah, like you could make an argument that 90% of that episode you could have cut out and the same result still would have happened.
Yep.
Because like nothing that happened on the planet really affected them finding, aside from like the girl was the one that pointed them to the direction of like which building what they needed was in, but like they probably could have found that eventually.
But they didn't find anything.
Well, they didn't find the coordinates, but they found out more information about like the other planets, the planet they're currently on, and SM-33.
Yeah.
So I would say like this was a mostly a character building episode for Neil.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, was
and
like
all of them,
the bulk of it,
I would say. But yeah, Neil is up there, and 33.
Yeah, with like a sprinkle of story.
Yeah. With a sprinkle of some of the mystery being revealed.
Yeah,
I would say.
I also feel like this was the goofiest episode, at least in my opinion. It was. There's a lot of just silly, goofy things.
Like goofy as in like funny?
Funny. Yeah.
Oh. I was gonna say goofy as in like really?
Oh, like cringy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, first of all, and I know it was important for the character building, and it's to like cater to kids that are watching, but to have child soldiers like that, like, I know that's like kind of a staple for Star Wars at this point, but to have child soldiers like that was kind of weird.
Yeah. I agree.
Like kind of hard to watch. And not because especially the main girl actress was like really good.
Minus her like unnecessary parkour.
Yeah, the parkour was really weird. Like the really weird slide that she did in the bus after the whole crowd had gone. They were just there alone, and she just did that slide
for like 6 feet.
Yeah, like what? What was that? Like probably like they're kids, so like she's showing off and trying to look cool. So I get it, but
kisses Neil and then like
does that parkour.
I don't even know what that's called, like a gainer off of the
gainer
off of the brick. And then just scurries off. It's like, all right.
Yeah. It was just kind of strange. But I know, like, if kids are watching that, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
But it was just, as adults, kind of cringe.
I don't think this was the funniest episode with, like,
I don't think
quips
so
or, like, funny moments. I mean, again, like, Neil just had some, like, really funny moments. Like, I appreciate that. I think that's going to be, like, every episode. Yeah. But I think there was some funnier moments in some of the other 3 episodes, but this one still had some good moments, too. So
I think I agree with you, though. It is the most cringiest episode.
Yeah. So when you say goofy, that's what I thought of, because that's kind of how I feel about it. It was still good. Like, I enjoyed watching it, but definitely the weakest episode. Like, some of the funny Neil moments, I'm trying to think back, like when they first landed at that planet and he was like, the smoke's getting in my trunk or something like that. Yeah.
And then he blows his trunk.
Yeah, he kept blowing his trunk.
Yeah.
That was really funny.
Or when the girl pulls him by his trunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come with me.
And Jod at the end was like, what did he say? Like, get your trunk over here or something
yes.
like that. That was funny.
Move your trunk.
Yeah, move your trunk. Other than that, it was a lot of, like, serious moments with Neil and the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And him, like, not wanting to fight, not wanting to be a warrior.
Yeah.
Which was good.
Yeah.
Just, like, his curiosity of, like, why they're fighting. Also, why is his planet not fighting, and why is it so peaceful?
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, and a thing that actually kind of bothered me about the end of this episode is, like, they had the perfect moment to actually kind of talk about why they're fighting on that planet. They'd never even mentioned that at all. They don't say what they're fighting about or or anything.
She said that they stole their EOPs, which I love, like, that they said that they were EOPs because they looked like them, but just slightly different.
Yeah.
Like the ones from Tatooine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they have horns.
Yeah.
They said they stole those. And, like, when you think about it, like, if it's a tribe that's, like, small and very, like, remote, that could be the simplest reason of why they are fighting each other.
That's
because
true.
The planet was clearly destroyed, and then these tribes have been probably there for generations, just like At Attin has been.
Mm-hmm.
But they've had nothing, so they're like, the simplest thing could cause war. Like, they stole our livestock, so screw them.
Yeah. I thought it would have been a better plot for the directors to go of, like, hinting at some things about, like, why the planet was the way it was, and, like, they knew that, or, like, could tell the kids, like, we've been fighting, 3 generations, like, my grandfather was one of the first original people when this happened, and, like, I don't know, something different than just, like, they stole our cows.
I mean, that would have been cool, but with knowing how many generations have passed, like, if it's Old Republic, thousands of years, like, they're not gonna know. That's been too long.
Yeah.
But it just felt like I get why all of this stuff happened and all that kind of stuff, to show character growth with the kids and stuff, but
it would have made that episode
they could have had both
a little bit better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because to me, it was very surface level, to the point that, like, you could make an argument, like, none of it could have happened, and they maybe would have still gotten the same, like, conclusion at the end.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if they had revealed some more secrets about the planet, or secrets about, like, the Old Republic, or, like, why they're fighting, whatever, it would have made it more worthwhile, I think.
I feel like we dived into that kind of aspect at the end with the whatever that building was called,
the
supervisor building.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they called it, but yeah.
So just like the deep history.
The something sanctum, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ancient sanctum or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Which then, so this makes me think, now we're kind of getting into a question that's more like what we think is going to be happening. So if that planet's supervisor building looks like that, what does At Attin's supervisor building look like?
Probably very similar.
Yeah.
Like, you mean what's inside of it?
Yeah. Like, do they have the pillars with all the other planets on there with their coordinates and information about it? It's like designed the same way. Yet they all don't know about like going off world and like there's a shield around their planet and like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, now that we know that there's like a bunch of other different planets and they're all named very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It just kind of reminds me of the High Republic with like the starlight beacons, where like maybe it was kind of some kind of initiation or initiative of the Republic, like making these planets, like, since they say it's the crown jewel of the Old Republic or whatever, like some reason all these planets are like this and they're all named similar for some reason. Like has something to do with like the Republic, some kind of Republic project.
Yeah.
Because if they're all exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they all have like
he pointed out like that's where I go to school and that's where I live, and
then
that's the supervisor
all the homes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, not even just like the designs, like the layout.
Yeah.
Same trees.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
He's like, this one's a little bit older though.
Well, he said that because it was inside of a building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he said it's the same tree. He's like, this tree's the one that's in my house, except this one's a little bit older.
Did he say that?
He did say that,
oh,
yeah.
I didn't catch that. I just thought he saw a tree in the middle of a house and he was like, there's no way a tree would be in a house this big if it wasn't old. I thought that's what he was saying.
Mm-mm. No, because then KB said something about like, yeah, this does just look just like my house too. So like I think all of their houses look the same.
Well, yeah, it did look the same. Because
Yeah.
we saw Fern's house
Mm-hmm.
in the first episode and it looked exactly like that.
Yeah.
With her going up the stairs.
Yeah.
Wonder if, might be like just a theory, but like, what if this planet, I forget the actual name of it.
At Akron, I think.
What if that was like the first planet that they tested and it went downhill, so they made another one and then another one?
Making planets.
Making planet, I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Or just like utilizing
Using
the planet.
Using the planet to,
for something.
That's a question though, because like if all the planets actually have the same like landscape, like geography, same like plants, animals, like whatever. That's hard to make or find. I shouldn't say make. That's hard to find 7 planets that all are identical.
Yeah, in the same system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
I guess I'm assuming they're in the same system.
Did you catch when Jod said, when they walked out of the ship, and he's like, At Attin, this atmosphere like tastes like ash. It's actually kind of like my planet that he's from.
He did say that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would assume that just means he's from a planet that's been destroyed too.
Yeah.
Or he's from Mustafa.
Yes.
Born of the lava.
Yeah, maybe he is from one of the other destroyed planets.
Maybe he's from Alderaan. And he's just like making a joke.
That would be a weird connection.
That would be hilarious to like later learn that and then go back and watch that and then hey, wait a minute. That's hilarious. I could see that.
That would be too funny.
But yeah, I will probably learn where he's from eventually. When we learn more about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's just so interesting. I love the way he came back with the the creatures, and he's like, yeah, they just love a good bargain.
I thought we were gonna get like a fight scene out of that.
Yeah. Because we saw that shot in the trailer with them with the guns, and yeah, I thought they were gonna end up fighting. But
lame.
It is kind of lame, but I also kind of expected it
because they're kids.
Because they're kids, but also like with the way their dynamics are with Jod and everything, I just figured like he was probably gonna like swindle his way out of it somehow.
Oh yeah.
So that was just like perfect the way he did that. So I did really love that.
Yeah.
With him.
Yeah.
Like making it so they didn't have to fight. I loved when Neil. They were all like,
we're saved.
They were all like, oh, can't believe you came. And then Neil just like zooms in and is like, we're saved. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So one thing that I didn't mention that I thought was actually a cool part of this episode is Fern having that moment.
That's what I was going to say. Like we had a character building for Neil, for 33, for a little bit for Jod, but
yeah,
her breakdown.
Yeah, at the end it was kind of like I'm not really like Captain Material. I can't get us out of this one, and
yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Then has an idea right after.
Yeah,
I feel like that's so relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was good character development for her.
And it was good for Wim to see her be like that, be more vulnerable, because she's always been super closed off and standoffish. So that probably will bring them a little bit closer too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's always been this kind of like, I wanted to be captain.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm older than you. Or
yeah.
He goes, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get us this far.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I was half expecting her to be like, you've got a point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think normally she would have said that. But that just shows how broken down she was in the moment.
So the whole 33 thing with the old captain telling him, like, destroy everything about this planet, even the people who are finding out, kind of weird.
It's literally the plot of Treasure Island.
Yeah. I figured it was
Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
Because really they do that with Ben the robot. That he like takes out his memory.
Yeah. Like his character is exactly the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
We need to watch that so we can find all the connections.
At the end of that movie, how does that all resolve?
So they get to the planet. They get there and like he's like holding the map, which is like the orb.
Yeah, there's like a that's one difference.
Yeah. So like have you seen it?
I've seen it, but it's been a long time.
So the premise of like this orb, which is the map, he can like maneuver it or like twist it and like select planets, and a like door opens that's like a portal door, and it takes you to that planet. And so he's able to, as like a pirate, like portal around the universe and like go in, steal, loot, plunder, and then disappear, and the portal closes. So like that's his like calling card of like how he's been able to do that. The part of the story that's like the mystery part of it is like, where does he keep all of his treasure? Like, where's he doing that? And so it's Treasure Planet. And so they finally get to Treasure Planet, where allegedly all of his treasure is stored. And the, what's the right one I'm trying to think of? Not like a nursery rhyme, but like it's like, it's like a story that like people tell like over like time,
like a
legend.
The legend. Yes, thank you. Yeah, nursery rhyme. The legend is that he stores it all in the planet's core. Well, the planet is made out of metal, and so they like have no way to get to like the center. They like start digging, and it's just like metal, and it breaks all their tools. So they figure out eventually that the orb has a button to go inside the planet. Like one of the portals goes to the inside. And so they go in. Well, they don't realize that there's a booby trap that was set, that like little like lasers that like they walked through, and so it triggered it. And they eventually put his memory back into the robot to figure out like how to get out. And he's like, "Oh, that was one thing I forgot. Captain Flint wanted me to destroy the planet if anyone ever came looking for the treasure." And so the planet starts to like implode in on itself, and so they have to like try and escape before it explodes and all the treasure's destroyed.
Literally the same.
I mean, not really.
No, well, we don't know.
There's a lot of similarities, but the fact that there's no map, that they're like,
well, I mean,
because they constantly have the map.
The robot,
once they find it,
and 33
the robot
is the same.
Yeah.
Yep. The robot.
And looking for a treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the names of the characters.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like they literally named one of the kids Wim, and the main character in that is Jim.
Yeah.
And Captain Silvo is like Captain Silver.
Now that movie is based on Treasure Island, which is a book.
Yeah. An old book.
Yeah. And some of the character names are like the exact same in there.
Yeah. I've read that book probably 3 or 4 times.
I think we had to in school.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those like required readings.
I never did.
I didn't
But
either,
Dad bought me like that pack of books that was like a bunch of different classics. And that was one of them. The white covers.
Yeah. Tale of Two Cities was one of those.
Yeah. I think Grapes of Wrath was one of them, which was kind of weird. But yeah, Treasure Island was the best one.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
There's also Muppets Treasure Island.
Yeah, you could watch that. But Treasure Planet is the peak version of that story.
For sure. They've got great soundtrack.
Great cast. Like, I can't hear...
Yeah, it's Gordon... what's his name?
Ramsay?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
It's that Gordon Ramsay guy.
No. Gordon Ramsay. Yeah,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
And who plays Ben the robot? What's his name? Because every time I hear him talk, I just think of that character. I just saw a video of him today.
It's he plays in one of the Santa Claus movies.
Yeah, he plays Jack Frost.
Martin Short.
Yes, Martin Short.
Oh, really good for that
so
character.
Good. I can't hear his voice because he like has this very distinct yell that he does that just, and that character just yells all the time.
Yeah,
because he's like going crazy, and I just think of that every time he talks. Like he's in How I Met Your Mother, and he plays Marshall's boss.
Yes.
At some point, whenever he becomes an environmental lawyer, and there's a scene where he just yells, and I'm like, that's Ben the robot.
Yeah. Hannah's watching through that right now. How
nice.
I mean, she's watched it before, but
yeah.
Now, have you?
The line in my mind is, "I've lost my mind."
Yeah, so good. Yeah, we should watch that together.
Yeah, so good.
Have you guys watched the show Black Sails?
No, you've talked to us about that because I put it on Plex for you.
You guys would enjoy it.
I don't think I heard this discussion.
So it was in a text chat.
Oh,
like a year ago.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna remember that.
It is like sort of the story of Treasure Island. It's got a lot of the same characters, like sort of the same plot. But it's like Game of Thrones and Pirates of the Caribbean together.
Interesting.
So it's like Game of Thrones just in like pirate lore, with like Captain Silva, Blackbeard, Billy Bones, like all those characters.
Yeah, was it AMC? I think it's an AMC show.
That sounds right.
Which makes sense why it didn't do very well, because they don't market their shows ever.
Yeah, it might be AMC. I was thinking it was BBC, but
no, I think it's pretty sure it's AMC. When I looked it up, it's either AMC or FX. Can't remember.
It might be FX. Actually.
Both of those don't do a good job of marketing their shows.
Yeah.
And they end up being some of the best shows.
Yeah. It's a really big hidden gem. For it being what it is, I'm surprised it wasn't like on the level of like Game of Thrones with like that much of like popularity, because it's like pirates are like a very attractive cinema theme for like Hollywood.
Yeah, definitely.
And for it not to be kind of on that same level, and maybe it was because it came out around the same time that it just never could get to that level, and Game of Thrones kind of
maybe
took it over. But really good cast. It's got some
if it
great
came out
fight
today,
scenes, and
it would probably do pretty well.
Yeah,
because there's there's House of the Dragon, but that's not nearly as big as Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but it's cool to see this storyline kind of has some like similar things with that.
Yeah,
Skeleton Crew. So
yeah, with that being such a classic story and a story that's been done so many times.
Yeah,
it's really cool to see that brought into Star Wars, but in a new twist, with only bringing like some things in.
Yeah, or hiding them.
Yeah, and Star Wars has always been really good at that, like taking inspiration from well-known things and bringing them in and adding their own twist to it.
Yeah. But it goes back to not my theory, but the theory that
there's no new things.
There's no new things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which again, I think is a good thing. Especially in this case, because it's a new twist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just change up, add your personal thing to it, and
they've added so many inspirations and twists to this show that it is very unique.
Yeah,
I think. So
yeah, and it's getting good ratings.
Oh yeah,
that's a thing we actually haven't like really talked about on the podcast quite yet. Is like we kind of hinted at it at the very beginning, the first episode, because I think we mentioned that it was like, man, this is kind of early for like rating things. Like,
they got like a 90-something% on Rotten Tomatoes with the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
and I was saying how it's stupid how that like they can judge a show by just 2 episodes.
Yeah,
but
I think it's maintained. I think it's like
maintained.
It's like 85% or something right now.
Yeah, and like overall, like the fandom, even the haters seem to be really liking it, which is like such a relief.
Yes.
I've just been so tired of that kind of stuff. There were some things when they showed that KB had 2 moms, and there were not a lot. I should say not a lot. But as soon as you have anything like that, you know, the anti-woke crowd crawls through the woodwork. But overall it's been really positive. But they did apparently come out, maybe not Disney themselves, because I don't think they would ever say this, but some other website that somehow is able to measure this said that it has very low viewership. I think Forbes came out with an article that was like, with the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, viewership on Disney Plus is so low, and like, it's just... I think that's just because, like, people in general are just not watching as much as they used to.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just comparing things to COVID era, when people were just, that's all they did was watch stuff when Disney Plus launched. So it's hard to compare to that when, like, that was a very unique situation and viewership was, like, all-time high. That it's just going to continue going down.
Yeah. Well, and I know several people that have canceled their subscription just because of prices. Like,
they keep raising the price.
So like they're like,
and a lot of people prefer to binge the show after it's done, and they don't measure that.
Yeah.
So they stop measuring it after the show is done.
Yeah.
And maybe someone won't check it out until a month or even a year after it's out.
That's true.
And they might end up loving it, but they don't measure that. So
YouTube TV.
Yeah,
saw that.
You see that price?
Oh my gosh! Oh, I got the email.
I was wondering.
Because I have it.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to reconsider.
Well, this is now, I think I've had it for 3 years, but they've increased their price 4 times. So like I didn't have it 4 years ago or 4 years ago when it first came out.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I got it the next year. And so they've increased it by almost $10 every single year. So now it is
an insane price jump.
Literally
47.
It was like 47 originally. It's now 89.
Now, what do you
84, something like that?
What do you specifically get with YouTube TV?
So
you meant 74, right?
Well, it's 84 now.
No, you said it went from 47 to 80.
I think that's right.
The thing I saw said it was like 70 something and then it went to 80. Like it jumped another $10.
Oh, I'm saying 40
Over
something from
years.
the very first year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
like each
now it's
year
80. Okay.
it's gone up by about $9 or $10. So that over the course of 4 years it's gone up $40.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so I do it for like sports watching.
Mm-hmm.
They have like all the NFL games on there. Now I also
Do they really?
Yeah.
All of them?
All of the like local games on like Fox, CBS, NBC, and ESPN.
Wow.
So and it's dependent on like the local area. So like if the Colts are playing here in Indianapolis, like it'll be on CBS. If I had YouTube TV and I lived in Cincinnati, if like the Colts were playing, but also the Cincinnati Bengals were playing, like it would play the Bengals for that person.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Interesting.
So, but you usually get an option, like it has the CBS channel, the Fox channel, and usually there's a game at the same time on each of those channels during like the 1 p.m. time.
Yeah.
So you can watch multiple games if you wanted to. I know it's the same for like baseball and hockey and like other sports as well.
Yeah.
The one that's different is the NBA. So this is why a lot of people are like really, really upset with the NBA right now, because they have cut back on their games on like regular channels like TNT and ESPN. They are forcing a lot of people to buy like NBA subscription to their like app or their program to watch other games. So there's usually only one game playing out of potentially 10 or 12 on a random night, and viewers can only watch whatever game they put on that prime time, like TNT. So there's not multiple games for them to be able to choose from.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. And almost every team in the NBA has to have a streaming service so that you can watch that local team. So like TNT on like the normal like cable channel will play whatever prime game they want to play that night. Well, anybody else in the country that wants to watch their local team, like the Bulls or the Pacers or Golden State or whatever, they have to go to whatever streaming service that team has the rights with. So like for us, it's it used to be Bally Sports, and now it's called FanDuel Sports, I think. But it's just like an app that you have to download and you have to pay to watch it. It's like $100 or $150 for the season. Jeez. To watch like all their 80 games if they're not on a prime time. So like you're paying like the YouTube TV, you're paying that Bally Sports or whatever, FanDuel Sports, and then a lot of times like there's college basketball games that are on too, but like again, like a local team, they have rights with like a specific network. So most teams use either like Peacock or Hulu.
Yeah.
And so people have to have like that subscription to be able to watch it. So the sports world is like,
it's so dumb.
Yeah. And all these apps know it. So they just rack up the prices every year, and
so
new subscription.
Would it just be cheaper just to go to like a B-dubs?
Yeah.
And just watch the games there
and
every week
and get food.
Yeah. Get food because you're going to have to eat anyways.
You're paying the same.
Yeah. But you're getting food because you're going to have to do that anyways. And maybe
and you can watch
buddies
more than
with
just
you.
one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
really annoying.
I think that's what the deputies still do for the most part. I mean, David Speaking of pirates. But that's the other point I was going to make is speaking of pirates, maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people will like team up. Like I think you can have for that FanDuel Sports, you can have a max of 2 devices running at the same time. And so like me and my brother-in-law, we just split the cost and we're both logging in. So it's about $60 each for us to use it to watch.
For the year.
That's
basically.
disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's how all of them are. Like if you want to watch certain shows, you have to subscribe to them all. That was
well, I mean, like even Disney Plus, like a lot of people will team up with people.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody really that does it just by themselves. Like they are almost always either bumming off someone or like splitting.
But then they're like going after those people by like trying to get, so it's just people in your household.
Yeah.
So that makes it even tougher. But that's why I went with Plex, which is a lot of work to maintain, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It makes it worth it when people actually use it too.
Everybody. But for those who want to try doing that.
Most people shouldn't do it. But if you enjoy like doing that stuff, like I kind of enjoy like waking up, going to see like what's new.
Yeah.
And then downloading it. And it makes it worth it when I have so many people using it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I looked on the app the other day because I think Olivia came to babysit Beckham, and so she was watching stuff on her profile. Well, then when she was done, like I logged out of her profile to go to, and I was like scrolling and scrolling and scrolling all the way to the beginning to get to my name. I was like, dang, how many people are on this thing?
Yeah. Just the whole family.
Yeah, the whole family
and others. There's like I think 15 profiles.
Yeah, I think Drew's on it. He uses it all the time. And then Jacob Charles uses it. And then I think I have 2 other friends on there too.
Wasn't Nate on there? Nate?
No.
Thought I saw Nate.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's been so nice to save money from all of that stuff.
Yeah, I'm very close to considering dropping some of our other services. Some of them we just have as like we bum them off of like her parents.
Yeah.
And we just are logged in with like their profile.
Yeah, so you might as well use them.
I think I pay for Peacock, Paramount, YouTube TV.
Do they have games on Paramount?
Yeah.
Yeah, they play a lot
that's
of
CBS.
Yeah, they play a lot of soccer games on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Serie A's on there and the Champions League.
And today the Carabao Cup was on there.
Oh yeah, that's on there too.
And they'll do some international games on there too.
Yeah.
But Peacock plays like the English Premier League.
Yeah.
Which is, I probably will keep that one if I keep anything. But
I knew that one was a big one.
YouTube TV is definitely
my
like
account.
Right at the fence right now where I'm like, is this really, really worth $80 a year to watch Colts games when they're terrible?
Yeah.
How many accounts can you have on YouTube TV?
4, I think.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's just linked to the premium, right?
No.
Because I get the emails for it too.
I do too. It's linked to the account, but his YouTube TV, I don't think, is shared with us. Or our YouTube
It
plan.
shows up in my YouTube.
What does?
YouTube TV.
Shows up in your YouTube?
Well, like it'll have an ad, not an ad, but it'll say like, use YouTube TV to watch this. And I see some of the channels that you favorite on there, like the sports ones.
Oh.
It drives me nuts.
Interesting.
I don't
I
see
didn't
those.
know I did that.
I think we do get those because it's just part of your premium, I think. Linked to the premium, which we all share.
Yeah.
I don't see those, but
Do you guys, are you on it?
On what?
YouTube TV?
I've never used it, no. I've never had a reason to.
Really?
Mm.
I added you.
we're on your YouTube account, like your
premium.
the shared premium account. but not the YouTube TV. I don't think.
I think we are. If you get
the
email,
you are, because every time I go to like watch a game or something, it's just like Plex. I have to like select which profile I want to watch with, and like, so you're on there. I think Olivia's on there.
If Olivia's on there, then I'm definitely on there.
I think you're on there, and then I think James. So maybe I'm allowed to have
then
5.
it's the 6 people.
Yeah, so it's the same.
6.
It's the same as premium then, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you do have it.
So, then you get YouTube Premium and YouTube TV.
Yeah, because he pays that price. Because he pays extra for it.
Then, yes, then it makes sense for it to be that price. Mm-hmm. Not the...
Yeah, my YouTube...
Raising it to that price is...
Good, no, but he pays extra for the YouTube TV.
Yes.
In addition to premium. Yeah, because premium is only like $30, I think.
Yeah, for the family.
For the family plan, yeah.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah, that's rough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never had a reason to use it because Plex. And I
utilize it.
I don't watch sports.
Yeah, I mean they have other stuff too on there, like
movies. I mean, it's like
it's literally just like cable.
Yeah. If what was the show? Yellowstone. Savannah was bugging me about getting that finale episode, and apparently it aired on TV, which is weird because isn't it a Netflix show?
I think it's an HBO.
No, it's not HBO.
Oh.
It might be a Netflix show.
But apparently the finale aired just on TV, on cable first.
Oh.
And she was bugging me about getting it. It's like, well, we have to wait till it actually airs and someone records it. But that would be an example. Like sometimes shows will do that where it'll be on cable instead of streaming first.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of strange to me because most people don't have cable.
Yeah. Although our TV, and I think most smart TVs have kind of like a TV app or like a cable app built into the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know if that uses an antenna or if it just uses
I think it's just the internet.
The internet, and then it has just a basic stream.
Yeah, because Mom has Xfinity.
Yeah.
And they have an app for the cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I have on my phone. I can literally watch any show.
Because that's Comcast and they own Peacock. So they have a different way of doing that probably.
So,
which is why like when I had Xfinity, like I would give you the Peacock account, but I don't have that anymore.
Yeah, now you gotta pay.
You'd get Peacock for free.
Yeah, that's nice.
Still had ads in it though.
Yeah, that was annoying.
Couldn't handle that. Anytime I see ads nowadays, I just it's not worth it.
It's not bad when you're watching sports because they do it at halftime.
Yeah. Well, soccer, yes.
With sports, it's like expected, I feel like.
Yeah,
it's part of the experience.
Yeah. But yeah, for shows, it's right in the middle of a show.
Yeah, for shows, I can't do it. Or movies. I don't know how Mom does it still.
I know.
Especially after she's been used to using Plex too. She'll still like boot up the Hallmark channel and stuff, and or the I don't know, whatever channels there are now with like the reruns of shows that she likes. Like a commercial like every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If that. 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's always the same commercials. Yep. Oh, I couldn't stand sitting there watching it. Anyways.
All the old people medicines and...
Oh, yeah. All the old people commercials. Yeah. Because it's the only people that watch.
Do you suffer from...
Yes, exactly.
Well, here's a medicine that will give you 7 other side effects.
Talk to your doctor today about using Zyflamax.
Yeah, it's always the same kind of thing.
And the video that's playing is like just the people doing the most random things. They're like
the most everyday things.
Slow running through their backyard with their kids.
Or like
opens the oven.
Yes, it's like just you mean just living life? We're just watching random people.
Oh, those
just
people
live
look
their life.
so happy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But are probably not happy with all those side effects.
It's better than those types of commercials when we were in like the early 90s. Do you remember some of those like really horrible infomercials about like medications or even like products where instead of it like having like a montage of like people doing happy things in the background, it's all like slow motion and like good lighting. It's like people taking something out of the oven and like their elbow locks up and so like they spill everything and
then,
like,
it shows the bad things.
Yeah, and it's kind of like grayish and then there's like a big like X or like something red shows
Don't let this happen to you.
Yes.
Some of those are still airing.
Yeah. But like they were so bad and then they were like parodied so much like on SNL and stuff that it was people like they realized not to do it anymore, but some of the SNL skits for that were just so funny.
Ooh.
Or like the Life Alert ones where the old lady would just like fall down just randomly. Which I understand happens. But I don't think you need to show that.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, we got so off track there. What next topic were we going to get to?
Did everything.
Yeah, I think we covered almost everything.
Visuals. Visuals are okay. You could definitely tell they were in the volume the entire episode. So I definitely feel like
what?
The volume.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
We've talked about this before.
They were in the volume?
You don't know what the volume is?
No.
So last time we talked about this, you just kind of nodded your head and went along with
Was I high?
The volume is their like new thing. They like invented it for the Mandalorian, but it's like their giant it's just covered in like giant TVs basically for the backdrops.
Okay.
So it's like the new way of doing green screen or blue screen.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of that, like you actually have panels showing what's behind them. So they can like
live.
So they can see what they're supposed to see.
Oh.
But there are some drawbacks of that because it's only so big.
Right.
So a lot of the sets seem small. So we were last time we talked about this, we talked about how it was the most apparent in the Obi-Wan show where all of those scenes just seem so small.
We talked about that on this podcast?
Yeah. We have twice.
During Skeleton Crew?
Not during Skeleton Crew, but the first or second episode.
Yeah.
The main podcast.
When we were talking about the shows.
Okay.
And like we went through all the shows basically saying which ones were our favorites.
If it was the second episode, it was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah. No, it was the first episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little... I
was a little high.
No, I was super tired, I think.
I mean, we didn't get started that night until late because we had those difficulties, but...
Yeah.
But yes, it's... did you watch the gallery that showed like the making of The Mandalorian?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Should watch that.
You should watch that. It's cool.
They have one for the first 2 seasons. I don't know if they made one for the third one.
No.
It's fascinating to hear them talk about like the whole making of, but then you like see their new technology. Like their whole thing was like Lucasfilm is known for like taking technology further than what the industry had ever used before.
Mm-hmm.
And it was during COVID. I mean, it was before COVID, right before COVID, but
yeah,
you know, after that they used it for like pretty much everything. They like licensed it out to like other studios to use and all that kind of stuff. But it's just this massive studio with just screens.
It's basically a dome.
Yeah, it's like a dome. Just
so
with
the
screens.
lighting is a little more accurate for the scene because they're in the scene.
Yeah, they're being
basically
lit by the TVs, basically.
Dang.
And they like put like sand out for if they're on Tatooine, they put all the sand out and like it's cool.
Yeah,
but
so that's what they've been
can
using
feel small.
for basically everything.
Interesting.
Yeah, which overall it looks great. Like obviously, if you've never noticed,
did not even know they were doing that.
But a lot of like once you, even like if you don't know, like I could tell in this episode that they were definitely using it for most of those shots. It just felt small.
Yeah, but I mean...
Whereas, like, previous episodes, they were better at making it feel big.
Yeah.
Like, Port Borgo seemed huge.
Yeah.
So...
Probably just because there's so much stuff crammed into the shot, where it just felt like the things outside the shot was just infinite.
Yeah. It's confirmed that they used that for this show? Or is it just like, that's what they've been doing now, so like it's kind of like obvious that's what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see anything that confirmed it, but yeah, the only show they haven't used it on so far is Andor, and you can tell. You can definitely tell.
In a good way.
Yeah. Yeah. In a good way, yes. Like, they shoot on location, and like, there's those scenes on Aldani where they're like in those open fields, and like you can tell they're in open fields instead of like in a dome that has open fields on screens, you know. And the way like they shoot in the volume, like since it's a smaller space, like they have to have tighter shots, whereas on set and like out in a real open field or something can have wider shots. It just seems like it goes on farther, whereas like in the volume they have to kind of blur the background a little bit more. Because they do all of the pre-production for the sets ahead of time. So they're like 3D. They're like in a video game engine, basically. They're in Unreal Engine 5.
Interesting.
So it's
cool.
On the screens, it's just basically a video game that they're sitting in, which is crazy. It's so cool.
Yeah.
But
how do they keep the screens from looking like pixelated on the cameras?
They're just super high def. They're probably 8K. Like, that was one of the big...
Is 8K even real?
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're going off the PS5 box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good luck running an 8K game on the PS5.
Yeah.
Because every time I take a picture of a computer screen with my phone, it just like looks grainy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just thought that was like what happens when you take pictures or videos of like LED screens.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
stuff.
Yeah.
Like they had to do a lot of development with it to make it work. So I'm sure there's special screens that they had to invent to do that.
I wonder if they talk about that in the gallery. I didn't catch that.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about that whole thing. That was the main reason why they made the gallery, I think, was to show off that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they call it the volume. I think there's another name for it.
It's a weird name.
Stagecraft, I think.
I have no idea.
I think that's the official name for it. It's like Stagecraft. It kind of rings a bell. But they called it the volume in the gallery, so that's what everyone calls it now.
Yeah, definitely worth checking out
cool.
the gallery.
But this episode definitely suffered from that. Like, when they were... Not necessarily when they were, like, in the little shanty town on the roof, which they probably were in that too, but when they were, like, going into the battle, it's like they were, like, on a main road with buildings nearby, and it just felt off. Like, it felt small.
Yeah.
Once you say that they only had close-up shots, you can immediately be like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, like, why didn't we get a wide shot of that to see, like, the space?
I thought that kind of the whole time they were going is like, where are they? Where? What is
exactly?
What are they looking at? Like, I want to see like bigger shots.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll have to look out for that now.
Like they kept the tight shots to probably just focus on the kids' faces because that's really all that mattered in the moment. But it just felt like they weren't headed in any direction really, and they took like 2 steps.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of strange. So that was definitely a volume issue.
Yeah.
That they were kind of lazy with. I feel like
you can kind of get that when, remember in, was that Book of Boba Fett or was that season 3 of Mando? I guess it was Book of Boba Fett when he fights Bane, Cad Bane. in that street. Or I guess they fight.
Yeah, that would have been Book of Boba.
Yeah. Very similar type of shots. Close up.
Yeah.
They never show a wide shot in that scene either.
Really?
I don't think so. If it is, it's not very wide.
I think they show a shot from behind each of them. But yeah, I don't think they ever show like a true wide shot. And I think part of that is because they were in an alleyway.
Yeah.
So a wide shot probably, they could have shown like an overhead shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which maybe they did.
I think they might have. I don't know. But yeah, similar type of things. Yeah. Now that you know, you'll be looking for
them.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking back to some of the other shows of like,
Yeah, it's definitely the worst in the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah, like Vader coming down that town's like main street, dragging along that person. The town's only those 3 buildings.
Yeah, the town's super tiny. The end battle between Obi-Wan and Vader is very, very lazily done. Like, where are they? It looked cool, but they're just like in this open area with these like rocks, and like there's nothing else.
It's a really good point.
It's just kind of strange. I love that scene, but that was a very strange set to choose.
I agree. It was probably just Outback, California.
Outback.
No, they were in the volume.
I know, but like they shot that. They're like, this is our inspiration.
No, that was Tython.
The wilderness of California.
That's what a lot of the Mandalorians do. They do some what's the word? On location stuff that just ends up being California in the Mandalorian, like Tython. That scene where Grogu, they're at that temple and Grogu is like using the Force on that big orb thing. Mm-hmm. And it's when Boba comes back and like helps them kill the stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Just California. It's like they just drove down the road a little bit and then got off the side, hiked like maybe half a mile up the road, and then just filmed it there.
Put the set there and it's like,
yeah,
do it.
Yeah.
All in a half day's work.
Like, again, great episode, great scene. One of the best scenes in that season with Boba using his armor again, and
yeah,
I love that. But it was just very clearly California, which was more annoying, especially for us as players of Old Republic, where they were supposed to be on a planet from that game.
Yeah,
and it didn't really look like that.
It's supposed to
be a lush, like Naboo style planet. And it just looked like a desert with some plants here and there. Like California. Just very strange.
Interesting.
Still great that we got Tython, but oh well.
Yeah, the whole time they were doing that scene of the kids in like the fog and like walking through, I was thinking the whole time, I'm like, how, like if they're going into battle, like, it doesn't even look like they really have much like cover.
Yeah, they were just, well, that was the other thing that I had an issue with them being child soldiers and everything. Yeah, like,
then you send
they
them
have
out to scout and get sniped.
Exactly. They had this like, we treat our children as adults, and like it's some kind of pride thing, and like you didn't really get to see the girl's reaction to him saying that. But it sounds like it wasn't a good thing, and they're using them as like cannon fodder.
Yeah.
Like the bait to see where they're at and then go in afterwards.
Yeah. That was the vibe I got from that scene. I'm
yeah.
Like, all right, now you go scout ahead.
And like, I had
basically
that.
Tell us where they are.
I had that suspicion when they were saying like, yeah, we take pride in keeping our kids as adults or whatever, and then that happened. I was like, oh, okay, and so they just use them as scouts. So then it does make more sense for Neil to try to get her to come with them, which I did think was kind of funny. Come with us, abandon your father.
Yeah.
But cool. then you think about what her life is, then it's like, yeah, maybe she would be better off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, this episode was the weakest in terms of visuals.
Yeah. Doesn't even compare to last week's.
Yeah.
Last week's was
with the
really
moonshot.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of want to go back and watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the previous 3 episodes were just crazy good.
Yeah. Didn't we talk about that there was a new director this week?
Yeah, this week was the Daniels. They were the ones that did. They were the ones that did that one movie, Everywhere.
Oh no, that was
something
a good movie.
All at Once. Yeah. Can't remember the full title. Yeah. Kind of strange. But
I'm not gonna say it.
I mean, they were given the plot.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
They did what they could.
Yeah.
And they probably have never used the volume before.
True. Probably not.
They did their best, guys.
That is kind of crazy, though. Like, so a lot of these directors have never directed in a setting like that. So, like, I wonder, I'd be curious to hear what people like that would say, the experience. Outside of earshot of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, like, what was the experience?
Like, on some podcast or something, I want to hear what they think. Not on a gallery episode where Lucasfilm is...
You better say you like it.
Yeah, you better say stuff that you maybe not mean. So the world building, we kind of discussed a little bit. I think really the main thing was the other planets.
Similar names,
and like the whole mystery with
similar style of planets in terms of environment.
Yeah, we talked about how they were exact copies, and maybe they were made, or transformed into, or something like that.
Yeah,
which would just get so crazy. That'd be like insane sci-fi level.
Yeah,
thing of like making or transforming a planet to be exactly the same. But I don't know if that's ever been done in Star Wars before, so that I'm aware of.
That would be insane.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say Starkiller base, maybe, but that's transforming into a weapon.
Yeah, that's not the same.
Poor Ilum.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice that in Fallen Order? When you go to Ilum and you see the Empire's there and they're like doing construction. And then if you leave and then come back, you'll see the beginnings of Starkiller base.
Oh, yes.
I love that. Yes. So cool.
That was cool.
Because before then we didn't know for sure if it was Ilum or not that they used.
In the game?
When that game came out?
In Star Wars.
Oh.
Like when the movie came out.
Oh.
And when the game came out, yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they never said in the movie. And the only reason people considered it was there was a reference book that showed all of the planets' like diameter sizes, and they were the exact same. And so people latched onto that and they're like, okay, they're basically the same planet. Like biome wise, they're all like icy snow planets.
And they just happened to
And I think it said they were both in the outer rim as well.
Kyber crystals.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like a planet made of kyber crystal to power the weapon like that makes sense.
Yeah.
But then to see that confirmed by that shot of like when you zoom in with your ship and you see like the giant laser like slowly, like just the imprint of it on that planet was just so cool. And the giant like trench. Love that.
The visuals of the sequel trilogy are pretty good.
Yeah. The concept of Starkiller pace, when you like think about the technical things about it, make no sense, but the overall concept is cool.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, there was a post I saw the other day. I can't really remember exactly what it said. I can't remember.
Why did you open that can of worms, Spencer?
Yeah.
I mean,
think about it. They're transforming a planet into a giant laser. Oh, that's what it was. So remember in the movie, they have to suck the power out of the sun.
Yeah.
In order to use it as a laser.
Yeah.
But it was a video of two stormtroopers on Starkiller base, and they were like, "Oh, why did it suddenly get dark?" And they like look out the window, and it's like, "Oh, they're charging the weapon again." And they were like, "Wait, if we can just suck the power out of the sun and make the sun disappear, wouldn't that just make the planets die anyways?" So couldn't we just go around instead of like murdering everybody, like using this power like that? Can we just go around and suck around the sun?
All the suns.
Yeah, just take the sun and leave.
Because everyone will just freeze.
Yeah. It was really funny.
Also, wouldn't taking the energy out of the star make it like collapse in on itself and like
implode?
Make it like a supernova? What happens when a star dies?
When a star dies, it explodes, usually. But if you're sucking the power out of it, I feel like that would just make it disappear because it's just gas.
Yeah, you're just converting its energy into
or I guess
different types of
plasma.
Energy, right?
But is that would just be energy? Yeah. You're basically just taking the plasma and converting it or like transferring it. I mean, it doesn't make sense scientifically, but we don't care about that in Star Wars.
So it turns into a red giant because it runs out of the hydrogen fuel, which is the core, which this isn't like Star Wars accuracy.
No, that's what I just said. Like, we don't care about science in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
it turns into a nebula.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then
which a nebula means it explodes, right?
Yeah, so then the core collapses into a white dwarf, which cools over billions of years into a black dwarf, and then go down here.
Did you ask ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And if it's a large enough star, it could become a black hole.
Okay.
That's spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many spooky things about space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those one of the channels that Simon Whistler, YouTuber guy, has is just dedicated completely to like
I'm sure he has
space stuff.
Great commentary on stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the main channel he has isn't one that he like has commentary on. He has some like fact-based things where he just like hosts something that someone else wrote. He doesn't put any of his commentary in, but yeah, he would be really funny to hear.
Well, even just like the way he speaks is just entertaining.
Yes,
even if he's just reading things and like maybe a one sentence commentary after reading something of like
this guy,
like something talks about a black hole and he's just like, well,
yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah,
he has way too many channels too.
Yeah, I saw. I don't remember what company it was or what organization, but they did a visual representation of what it would look like from the perspective of somebody falling into a black hole. And of course it's like sped up because that could take a long time of like
billions of years
what's actually happening, but it was trippy. It was trippy. And there were lots of comments from like scientists and like people saying like, oh, this and this. And somebody was like, yeah, the best part is at the end of it, you get strung out into basically spaghetti because your body just like dissolves into like all different like time and space.
Yeah. And the weirdest thing about that is we don't actually know that for sure.
True. Yeah.
So crazy.
That's the craziest thing about space is like we still don't know hardly anything about it.
Yeah.
A lot of it's just theory.
Yeah.
Crazy.
This reminds me of Interstellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing movie.
Yeah. Top 5 movie of all time.
Do you guys watch there's another podcast. They do a lot of Star Wars stuff, but they just also do just like movies, games, like nerd stuff.
Probably not.
Anyways, one of the guys on there watched Interstellar for the first time.
Oh.
And he moved it up to his like top 3, I think. He was like,
yeah,
Christopher Nolan is like
a
genius, and like the soundtrack is like, I've been listening to it on like repeat all week, and like
that main
just
theme.
The plot, and just, I was like, yeah, you missed out like a decade ago when the movie came out.
Yeah,
that's just so good.
Yeah, I forget what year that came out. Was it 2012, 2013,
something like that?
Yeah,
I remember everyone was talking about it at Greenville.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Okay.
Predictions?
I kind of already shared mine a little bit.
Yeah, what was yours again?
I think that because they now know like stuff about all the other planets, even though they don't have the current coordinates for getting to At Attin, I think that room looks the exact same as the room on At Attin, like that supervisor building. So I think there's some connection with the buildings and the planets, and like I think they're gonna find something in that room that's gonna like help them connect to the building that's there.
And, like literally connect.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't catch
puzzle.
That.
Okay. I was gonna say, since those buildings are probably the exact same or similar, they go to a different planet where it wasn't broken, find the coordinates, maybe run into another problem, where they have to go to another one of the planets.
They run into another tribe of children.
But I like that one better, where it's like something there probably connects to At Attin, and another one on another planet.
Well, because like there's 8 episodes, right?
Yeah.
We're at the halfway point. So was there plans to do more than one season, or is this kind of like a...
They just came out with news today saying that they have already thought of season 2, but it hasn't been
renewed.
It hasn't been renewed yet.
So
I bet it will.
We're at the halfway point. My guess is they are probably going to At Attin next. I don't think that they would be able to do what they need to do for the storyline to have a whole other episode or even a second episode of not getting to At Attin. Because then that only leaves you episodes 7 and 8.
I mean, I feel like we say this with every show.
But if they're only 30 minutes long, like...
Yeah.
I feel like there's still too much stuff to learn about being on actual At Attin that, like, they got to get there to start learning about that.
Unless
whole
they just
mess.
leave it for season 2.
Yeah, and that's why I asked that question. Is like, if there is actually a season 2, then
yeah, I don't. From what they said about season 2, they said that I forget exactly what they said word for word, but they basically said they want it to be a time jump to where it looks believable because the kids grow fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't want it to be like Stranger Things. They literally said that. They said they don't want to be like Stranger Things where in the story it takes place a day later.
But the kids are
like
a year and a half older.
Yeah. Or 3 years older. Like with this next season.
And they try and use just 10 pounds of makeup to make them look like they're still super young.
Yeah. They're my age and they're still in high school.
Millie
right?
Bobby Brown looks like she's 14, but she's like 23.
Yeah. You
are obviously not 14.
I'm going to be so weirded out by the final season when it comes out because, they're all 10 to 15 years older than they are in the show. But they said they don't want to run into that problem.
Yeah. And
so their plan is to make it a time jump in the story to where it makes sense.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel like it would be a complete, and they didn't get renewed yet. And they didn't plan on getting renewed.
Okay.
So I feel like it would be a complete story by the end of it.
Yeah.
Which is good
which is what all shows should do.
Yeah.
Just to keep it safe.
Like the whole Acolyte thing where they like set up Vegas and then they didn't get renewed.
Yeah.
And now we're just set here wondering.
Yeah. But I was going to say we felt the same way with the Acolyte where we kept saying like, how are they going to fit all this stuff into the last episode? And then they kind of did.
They did, yeah.
So, yeah. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. I agree with you. And I hope it doesn't feel rushed. Because I do think the Acolyte did feel rushed at the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know.
I don't think we're going to figure out everything we need to know on At Attin by the end of the show. Like end of the season. But I do think we'll probably get back to At Attin within 1 or 2 episodes, like you said.
At least. Well, at most 2, I should say.
By episode 6.
Yeah. Because that's been the whole goal, is to get back there. So if they get back there too soon, then I could see how that could be a problem, but I don't know.
But there's still stuff happening on At Attin.
Yeah.
We need to see that.
We haven't seen that for a whole episode now, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so this isn't really a prediction, but I thought when we saw that it was like the planet was exactly the same, I thought maybe that was part of the whole, like, maybe the barrier is like
a hologram?
Yeah, like a hologram showing that it was something that it wasn't. Like, they were actually there, but it was showing that it was destroyed.
Yeah.
Because they didn't come in a certain way. They didn't get approved to see what it really looked like.
Mm.
I thought maybe that's what they were going to go with.
Kind of like Scarlet Witch.
Yes. I was trying to think of something else that it was like, but yes, exactly like that.
Yeah.
There's like kind of like a mind trick.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Where it looks completely different than what it is.
Mm.
Just like Silo.
Well, I wouldn't say that's just like Silo. Okay, I haven't seen season 2, but I guess it's exactly like Silo.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
But
you just spoiled it.
No, for the first season, like.
Yes, I mean, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
From the first season.
Like the similar.
From what I suspected.
Thing. Yeah.
Just trying to walk it back.
Anyways.
I haven't seen season 2 yet.
I'm not even done.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that there is a season 2 kind of confirmed that was whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I guess I agree with you guys with my prediction. How they'll probably go there pretty soon. but I don't know what to really expect now that we've seen that the other planet, at least one of them, is exactly the same. Like, if we go to another planet and then that's exactly the same, I hope they reveal more of why, rather than just showing us that. Be like, okay, well, they're all the same.
Yeah. Did that one episode, I guess it would have been last episode, episode 3. Did she say that all of the other planets were destroyed except for At Attin, or some of them were? All.
I'm pretty sure she said all.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in my mind, I was thinking like destroyed, like Alderaan.
Oh, so was I.
Completely gone.
I did not think that they were still there.
Yeah. But I guess that makes sense, like why the Death Star was such a big deal of being able to destroy something like that. It had never been done before.
Yeah.
So, like, going back to the Old Republic era, they would say a planet was destroyed after, like in KOTOR, they just had a fleet of, like, Star Destroyers just laze it
like
around the entire planet and just completely destroy it that way. And that's when they would say it was destroyed.
But it wouldn't actually, like...
But it would still be there. And then
it.
years later, they would have, like, restoration efforts. And, like, you go back there in one of the games.
Yeah.
And it's like they have a restoration project, like, trying to restore
the Empire?
No, the Republic.
Oh.
Yeah. So, like, you go back there and, like, try to help them.
So, yeah, I guess they're destroyed on the surface rather than...
Yeah, so they're destroyed like Terrace was.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But who destroyed it? That's the question.
Well, if it's Old Republic, we already know.
That would be crazy if it was the Sith. But it feels like it wasn't. It feels like it was the Republic.
Oh, they destroyed their own planets?
Yeah. Oh. Like it since the last one standing is being hidden away. Like it feels like it was their doing. You know? Because why would they leave? Why would the Sith Empire leave one left? Completely hidden away and intact. And being, like, grown into what they believe is, like, the Republic's great work. Whatever that means. Like, that feels weird. To be a Sith thing.
So many questions.
I know, it's so weird.
Do it. It could have been the Sith did destroy those other ones, and the Republic
salvaged the one,
hid it away so that it wouldn't get destroyed.
Yeah,
but
yeah, maybe the treasure that they're trying to seek is this like backup vault, like on the planet, in the way of life of the Old Republic that they wanted to preserve because the Sith destroyed them. But then no one knew about it.
Going back to what you said for your prediction of the other 4 planets are connected in some way with these towers. And the treasure is actually on At Attin that they have to unlock before they get there. That's interesting, actually.
Yeah, like the vault has to be unlocked by a person being at each of those towers on each planet or something. That'd be crazy.
Have to leave one behind each time.
Yeah.
There is 5 of them. Oh, gosh.
That would be pretty cool.
In the final one, Jod has to sacrifice himself to make it all work somehow.
Yep. I could see that.
Oh, gosh. After we learn everything about him.
Yeah.
Or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything and nothing at the same time.
Yeah. So about him, did you see the video Star Wars Explained made?
Mm-mm.
So you know how Kim last episode called him Crimson Jack?
Yeah.
Apparently that is a name of an existing character.
Oh, yeah.
That was originally in the very first Star Wars comics ever made back in the 70s. And then brought back in canon in other comics. He looks very similar. He's like a ginger human with like a big red beard. Crimson Jack. Perfect name. But he was a pirate. And so I think his prediction was that Jod is just using the name as like a cover. Like he's already had 2 names before this, and now he's got 3. So that's probably what he's doing. Or that other Crimson Jack is using
Jod's name.
Using Jod's name, yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
I like that first one, where he's just using that name. And his other 20 that he has in his pocket.
Oh, it'd be so funny if he lives by the end of this, and then like one of the last, or like a post-credit scene is like Jod in like a bar or something, a cantina, and then like the real Crimson Jack just comes up and is like, so I hear you've been using my name, or using me name.
His little Irish accent.
Yeah.
So I hear you've been using me name.
That would be perfect.
And he has a claw. Just a hook.
A hook
on the table.
Yes. I want that so bad now.
Do we think... Well, there really wasn't anything in this episode to advance the theory that Jod is a Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, he basically confirmed that he wasn't last episode.
Yeah.
So I would just assume that he's not.
I just feel like that's...
It gets us talking about it. I think that was the main goal. And to play into Wim's fantasy of him wanting to be a Jedi. Him wanting to be him being a Jedi.
Yeah.
And his like blind acceptance that he was a Jedi this whole time.
I just feel
and he
like
just saw what he wanted to see.
It's right there to make it be so.
Yeah, but
and like
remember the time period that we're in. Like there can't be any other Jedi, really.
There always can be.
Yeah, we've seen that a little too often.
Yeah,
that's a big criticism a lot of people have.
Currently 3.
Of there being too many Jedi when Luke was supposed to be the last one. Because now we know Ahsoka's been around this whole time.
Ezra's back.
Sabine's a Jedi now. Cal is probably still around.
So there can be one more.
Kanan survived for a long time. I feel like there's other ones that I'm not thinking of.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense for him to be Force sensitive, but not trained as a Jedi. And just because there were no Jedi to train him this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Be cool if he was a rejected student right before Order 66.
I feel like
they rejected youngling.
I mean, yes, I agree. That would be kind of cool, but I feel like that's always the premise of like a dark side user that they use.
Yeah.
They haven't really used that in like live action yet that I'm aware of.
Yeah, but
because you can't
cool
really
see somebody.
I guess you could say that about Ben.
That isn't a dark side plot line with that, but actually kind of just like
neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would rather save that premise for something else and just go all in on like being a dark side or light side or whatever. Like using a lightsaber and all that kind of stuff rather than just like, I'm a gray Jedi, but I don't use a lightsaber. I'm a pirate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we're going to miss out on the opportunity of seeing Jude Law as a cool Jedi.
I know. That would have been really cool.
Wasted.
If I had a Jedi Master, it'd probably be him. For sure.
The Jude Law himself?
Yeah. Yeah. Not as a Star Wars character, but Jude Law himself.
Not Jod, but Jude. Jude Nanawood.
I should have named my child Jude. Jude Linder. That's kind of a cool name.
Nah.
Becky boy.
No, I do have like a icebreaker or something where we would talk about who we would choose as our Jedi Master. Could do that.
Like actual characters? Or just
not real
not
people.
Jude Law. Dang it.
Martin Short.
I've lost my mind.
Anyways, we'll stop there for now. You are listening to Galaxy Bound Podcast. We do monthly episodes talking about all things Star Wars. This episode was part of a reaction series discussing each episode of Skeleton Crew after it aired. If you missed an episode, feel free to go back and watch or listen, and stay tuned for the next episodes. We'd greatly appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe or follow us on whatever platform you are watching or listening from. It helps us grow and reach more people. You can follow us on social media on basically every platform out there at Galaxy Bound TV, or check out our website at galaxybound.tv for links to them all. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Like, I can't hear...
Yeah, it's Gordon, what's his name?
Ramsay?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
It's that Gordon Ramsay guy.
No.